In 1984, Boomtown Rats frontman Bob Geldof watched a horrifying news report about famine in Ethiopia and was compelled to action. Using his connections in the music industry, he assembled a who's who of British musicians to form the supergroup Band Aid. This elite collection of artists, which featured the likes of Bono, Sting, and Phil, all collaborated to record the song Do They Know It's Christmas Time.
The record made millions for Ethiopia.
And the spin-off concert Live Aid raised even more.
Now, while Geldof wasn't the first musician to raise money for charity,
artists like George Harrison and the Bee Gees had done charity singles in the 70s, I don't think anything had been attempted on the scale of Band Aid. Shortly afterwards, the American music industry got involved in helping Ethiopia with USA for Africa's iconic We Are the World. And just like that, the supergroup charity single became a staple of pop culture. Since then, we've seen countless celebrities sing countless songs for countless causes. No two songs are the same. The only thing that links them together is that they are sung by famous people looking for something to believe in.
Some believed in not playing Sun City,
some believed in not doing drugs, and some believed in not reading the room. But of all the celebrity supergroup songs, there is a bizarre one that I've kind of become obsessed with. A song for a cause we all found so noble that in hindsight may have been a bit nefarious. A song that featured the legendary Ozzy Osbourne alongside the infamous MC Skatkat.
Today on Pop Culture Hyperfixations,
we're going to take a look at 1991's environmentalist anthem, Yakety Yak, Take It Back.
Take that crap back!
Take it back!
Please take it back!
Come on now, take it back!
Clean it up, take it back!
Take it back.
Take it back. Please let me out of here.
Take it back!
Now, it may be hard to believe for younger viewers, but in the early 90s, there wasn't much of a debate about saving the planet. Nowadays, I'm hesitant to even bring up climate change for fear of a flame war in my comments.
And by flame war, I'm of course referring to the art of internet trolling,
not the concerning amount of massive wildfires that have been in the news lately.
Obviously unrelated.
While discussions of the environment in modern times can be controversial,
in the early 90s, the majority of Americans were on board with an environmentalist agenda. A 1988 Gallup poll showed that voters' number one cause of concern in that year's election was the environment. And a poll the following year found that 76% of Americans considered themselves environmentalists.
There had long been a growing environmentalist movement in America, and they had started to rack up victories in the 70s and 80s.
But it's still surprising to see how quickly everyone seemed to get on board.
So much so that it's worth asking, why? Like anything, there's an endless amount of reasons for it. But there are two theories I found during my research that I think stand out. First was the end of the Cold War. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the US didn't have an enemy to distract ourselves with. For the first time in decades, there was no external threat to our safety, and so people began paying attention elsewhere. And the second reason is that, well, when they began to pay attention elsewhere,
what they saw was a series of well-publicized ecological nightmares. The one most people probably remember was 1989's Exxon Valdez spill
that saw millions of gallons of oil spill out into Alaska's Prince William Sound. However, for the purposes of our story, there was a lesser-known incident that likely convinced even the most reluctant American that we might be in trouble. In 1987, a trash barge called the Mobro 4000 left New York City looking to dump 3,000 tons of garbage. The barge was rejected from several locations, and the month-long saga made national headlines. Environmentalists began beating the drum that eventually, we were going to run out of places to put our trash, and Americans began to listen. Now obviously, the Mobro 4000 story isn't the sole reason that environmentalist causes flourished.
But when you combine it with stuff like the hole in the ozone layer, acid rain, and the rainforest crisis, you can see why people were galvanized into conservation efforts.
The messaging was clear.
The planet needed our help.
But what can I do? I'm just one man.
Well, Homer, there was plenty you could do. A big focus of 90s environmentalism was raising awareness for how regular Americans could help out. And the simplest way to deliver those messages was through films and television. During that time, a lot of content had some focus on environmentalism, but it was especially prevalent in children's media. For those of us 90s kids, the idea of saving the planet was ingrained in almost everything we watched. Movies like Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest, and TV shows like Captain Planet taught a generation of kids how important the environment really is. Now, not everything was so heavy-handed as those two. I don't think as a kid I fully realized that Toxic Crusader's message was environmentally conscious. I just realized the theme song kicked ass.
Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. I had no friends, no girls that hugged me till I got radioactive ugly. Toxic Crusaders.
Everywhere you looked, it was all manner of content that taught a generation of kids how to RECYCLE recycle and CONSERVE conserve. Because ultimately, most of the messaging we got back then was about just that, recycling and conserving. The conservation aspect is pretty self-explanatory, especially to anyone who is still haunted by that Sesame Street cartoon where the fish has to call the little boy who's wasting all his water. The recycling part might require a bit more context. It's not that recycling didn't exist at all, but it wasn't until the late 80s that the concept really picked up steam nationally. It was pitched to people as yet another simple way to help the environment. Just separate your glass, paper, plastic, and aluminum, and you'd be helping save the planet. It was hard to visualize the hole in the ozone layer, and overwhelming to figure out how to save the rainforest, but people could easily grasp the idea of putting their tab cans in a different bin. It was a simple, direct action anyone could follow. But you know what would make it even easier? A song.
Don't add to more pollution, be a part of the solution. Don't burn it all away, start recycling today. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Go, Captain.
Unfortunately, this is not the song I'm talking about. The song I'm talking about is titled Yakety Yak, Take It Back, and it comes courtesy of a woman named Jolie Jones. Jolie was the daughter of legendary music producer Quincy Jones, the man responsible for We Are the World, as well as for comedian Gilbert Gottfried's obsession with the bisexual relationship between Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando. Jolie had blazed her own path in the modeling world, but it seems like her real passion was environmentalism. From a young age, she was active in various nonprofits, but in 1990 she started her own group, the Take It Back Foundation. The meaning of the name came from Jolie's belief that we need to take back our environment. It was at one of those foundation meetings that a gentleman named Pacey Markman came to Jolie with an idea. They should attempt a music video. Jolie loved the concept. She knew firsthand the power of music when it came to reaching young people. When interviewed about the video for the LA Times, she said, quote, "The whole point of the video is not to point fingers at people, but to create an entertaining, user-friendly message that can empower people, especially young people." First, they needed a song. And instead of creating something whole cloth, they looked to the past to a hit song from 1958 called Yakety Yak. That song was made famous by a group called the Coasters, and is basically about a parent arguing with his kid over what he needs to do. At least I think that's it. I'm gonna be honest, my interpretation of the song is wholly influenced by the Tiny Toon Adventures version of it. I have the same issue with Istanbul, not Constantinople. Even though the Coasters were the ones who performed it, the writers of the song were Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. The duo were songwriter Hall of Famers who had written for the likes of the Drifters, Elvis Presley, and Michael McDonald. And yes, I did give Michael McDonald top billing over Elvis, and I'd do it again. Lieber and Stoller agreed to lend Yakety Yak to the foundation, and Lieber went as far as to rewrite the lyrics himself. On the music video end, there was a decision made to incorporate animation with live action, so to make it easier, 2 directors would be brought in. Michael Patterson, probably best known for directing Paula Abdul's Opposites Attract, and Tim Newman, probably best known for directing every ZZ Top video, would share the director's share. Now all they needed was the musicians. Wonder who they're gonna get.
Don't be no square. Don't be no chump. Don't make this earth a garbage dump.
Yeah, now I'm not sure if I want to save the planet or make sweet, sweet love to it. Getting the likes of Barry White to lustily sing about Mother Earth was just the tip of the iceberg for the talent in this video. But there actually could have been more. Artists who were reported as being attached to the project that ultimately didn't participate included Debbie Gibson, Will Smith, Alice Cooper, and Kool Moe Dee. Even without them, and God, what I would have given for a Debbie Gibson and Alice Cooper duet, the video's still stacked. You got everyone from Queen Latifah, to Lita Ford, to this guy. Part of the reason for so much talent was the lack of time commitment. The video only took 2 days to shoot, and the whole thing was pretty streamlined. Jolie Jones' husband, Stuart Levine, was also arranging and producing the album, so the talent would come in and record their parts of the song at staggered intervals before heading to the soundstage to film their part in the video. Hell, Dr. John didn't even need to do that. They just had him voice the cartoon Yak. Quincy Jones himself was in the video, and coincidentally Yakety Yak was filmed on the same soundstage as We Are the World. That soundstage was donated by A&M Records, and they were the only corporation that participated in the project. AT&T ponied up the $500,000 to make the video, while Atlantic Records handled the distribution of the song. While Jolie Jones originally envisioned the project as only taking a few months, it'd be nearly a year before the video was complete. In the meantime, she wasn't just focused on the video, she was focused on a bigger picture. She was determined to raise awareness for the benefits of recycling and began working with then Senator Joe Lieberman on an environmentalist agenda. Working together, they were able to get April 15th, 1991 recognized as National Recycling Day. That same day, MTV premiered the Yakety Yak music video, and all of America got to see Kenny Loggins hit that sweet jumper. I've been showing clips throughout the video, but the whole thing kinda has to be seen to be believed. Speaking of believing, Jolie Jones believed in the project so much that she was able to get the video shown in hundreds of AMC theaters as well. That means that in 1991, there was a greater than zero chance someone saw this music video and the film Toy Soldiers in the same day. It makes sense, they have similar themes.
Pick up that banana.
While the video was a great way to begin to get the message across, Jolie Jones had bigger plans. On top of the video, the Take It Back campaign also filmed dozens of PSAs with celebrities that would give the viewing public good ideas on how they could help the environment. Most of them followed a standard formula. A celebrity gives a helpful tip, and then they end with the slogan, "Take it back." Only two of them are really worth talking about. One would be Ozzy Osbourne's rambling entry where he wears this hat, and Bette Midler's contribution where she threatens viewers and basically predicts her character arc on the Krusty Gets Cancelled episode of The Simpsons.
Listen to me. Do not, I repeat, do not ever throw a bottle or can out of your car window onto the highway. If you do, I will follow your car, I will come to your house, and I will tell you to your face, take it back.
Probably the biggest part of Jolie's plan was to try and get the ideas behind Take It Back taught in classrooms. She traveled across the country speaking to kids at schools all across America. She helped develop a book to coincide with the music video and was instrumental in getting their lessons implemented in curriculums all across the country. At least 18,000 teachers received course books from the Take It Back Foundation to help in their studies. For their work, the foundation received numerous awards, and even though there were no more music videos, the foundation continued their mission, and for years afterwards you would see Yakety Yak linked to various environmentalist events. And as you all know, recycling became a key part of American life. We took our environment back, and everything was fixed. Hold on, I just got some new information. Let me look at this. No, everything's still pretty f***ed. Yet, despite the best efforts of Jolie Jones, MC Skatkat, and this guy, the wave of environmentalism in the 90s crested before it could become a tsunami. Much like the reasons behind its rise, the reasons behind its decline in popularity is also multifaceted. I've seen blame put on the recession of the early 90s, which caused important programs to lose their funding. I've seen blame put on the war on terror in the early 2000s, which shifted our focus back to a foreign enemy. But this is my video, and I'm going to blame the people who I usually blame for these things. Corporations. I usually blame them because I'm usually right, and this time is no exception. You see, that whole big push towards recycling in the 90s might have been a bit more nefarious than we originally thought. In 2020, NPR and PBS collaborated on an episode of Frontline titled Plastic Wars that seemed to indicate that the rise of recycling propaganda was funded by oil companies. And why, might you ask?
Profits, profits, profits!
The whole documentary is worth watching. I'll link it in the description, but here's what I think you should take away from it. People were worried about plastic, with some cities going so far as to discuss the ban of new products. To get ahead of it, companies started spending $50 million a year to promote recycling. They essentially told people that, hey, look, all this stuff is renewable, so you don't have to worry if you waste it. It's just gonna get put back in the rotation. The only problem is that most plastic was not easy to recycle, and it wasn't financially feasible for recycling companies to break it down. So instead, all that plastic just ended up as waste in landfills. Those companies had essentially Jedi mind tricked people into thinking they were doing the right thing. Excuse me while I go full Mark Ruffalo here.
They knew, and they let it happen!
Now it's easy to think about how the basis of 90s environmentalism might be deeply rooted in the evils of corporate culture and feel bad about it. But I spent too many years being indoctrinated by the toxic crusaders to give up that easily. There was in fact some headway made during the 90s. An entry of the blog Slate Star Codex called Whatever Happened to 90s Environmentalism looked back at the era to see what was accomplished and concluded that, well, a lot got done actually. The hole in the ozone layer is on track to fully repair in our lifetime. Air and water pollution isn't as bad as it used to be. The rainforests are still fucked, but it's taking longer for them to get fucked than originally projected. So that's progress. Even though you can justifiably feel cynical about the whole thing, good things did happen. And even though recycling wasn't the big fix people thought it would be, it was important that people like Jolie Jones tried. She could have made an all-star music video to quote-unquote raise awareness and call it a day, but she was smart enough to try and push harder. She knew the power of her message and leveraged it everywhere she could. And that's why, even though I literally just concluded my video with a rambling diatribe that recycling might have been a scam, tonight I'm gonna make sure I put my tab cans in the blue bin, because if I don't, I'm worried Bette Midler will kill me. Take it back. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button. If you want to watch more, hit subscribe. And let me know about your 90s environmentalism memories. Did you do Earth Day? Did you plant a tree? Are you still haunted by the dystopian ending of dinosaurs? Let me know.